Buddhaṃ 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 Vande Dhammaṃ 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 Vande Sanghaṃ 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 Vande Buddhaṃ Dhammaṃ Sanghaṃ Vande. Homage to the Buddha, homage to the Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, homage to the Sangha, the noble disciples of the Buddha, homage to the Triple Gem. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Venerable Sirs, monastics, friends in the Dhamma, you are gathering here for a special meditation program, meditation retreat, which is conducted by the Sirisampanno Monastery in Germany. Okay, first of all, I would like to welcome all of you with the blessings of the Triple Gem, the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. The meditation retreat means that we dedicate our life for spiritual development. We are here especially for our mental culture, mental development. Why do we need to cultivate our mind? Our mind is the main thing that decides whether we are happy or unhappy. Whenever we practice Dhamma, it means we cultivate our mind. We develop our mind. Here, especially when we discuss the Dhamma, what the Buddha taught, we especially focus on our mind. Buddhism says, mind is the forerunner. Mind is chief. Mind made Dade. If we do something with a pure mind, happiness follows us because of pure mind. Whenever mind is impure, suffering follows us because of impure mind. We practice Dhamma, we practice our mind, we cultivate our mind for our inner peace. Whenever we keep our mind pure and calm, it means happiness follows us because of pure mind. Whenever our mind is impure, suffering follows us. If we have this understanding, we always try to keep our mind pure and calm, since we like happiness. We dislike suffering. Therefore, always we keep our mind pure and calm. Here, when we listening to Dhamma, especially when we listening to the message of the Buddha, we understand how we purify our mind. When we are going to purify our mind, the main doctrine in Buddhism is that mindfulness. Mindfulness means we keep our attention in our behavior and our mind. Here, it is very important to understand the very first step of mindfulness. Buddhism explains it, we keep our attention around the nose or upper lip in the present moment. It doesn't mean that we look at our face or around the nose. We keep our attention in this area through our mind. This is the first step of mindfulness. This is the sign of mindfulness. Then automatically we come to be silent. We reduce our speech since we give priority for our inner peace. When we discuss Dhamma, Dhamma is the nature of the world. The Buddha says very clearly, whether a Buddha appears or not in this world, this message is forever. We respect the Buddha because he discovered this message. The Dhamma is the discovery. It is not a creation or invent. Dhamma is forever in this world. We say this message as the Buddha Dhamma or Buddhism because in this eon, the Buddha discovered this message by himself first time. That is why we say it as Buddhism or Buddha's message. In this retreat, especially you dedicate your time, your energy for your spiritual development. You have come here from far away. All the facilities are here for you, for your inner peace, for your mental culture. Okay, first of all, I would like to explain some main doctrines in Buddhism for the start of our spiritual development, the retreat. When we discuss the Buddha's message, in one sentence we can say what the Buddha taught. 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃𝓀𝒶. In Pali language, it means purifying one's mind. This is the entire message of Buddhism. Purifying one's mind. Here we should understand the negative emotions, negative mental states that disturb our peace of mind. Here we can see there are 3 unwholesome mental states that disturb our peace of mind. They are craving, anger, and delusion. Craving or greed, anger or ill will, and ignorance or delusion. These are the negativities that disturb our peace of mind. By practicing Dhamma, we gradually reduce these negative thoughts from our mind. It has a gradual path. Dhamma is like the ocean. You know, the ocean, the sea, deepens gradually from the beach to the deeper level, deeper water. Dhamma also like that. At the beginning, it is very easy to practice. Here, we cultivate virtues and wisdom. When we practice Dhamma, we cultivate good qualities in our lives and also we develop wisdom. What is the very primary, very essential quality that we should have? When we see someone, when we associate someone, what is the main quality that person should have? According to Dhamma, the very first quality is that gratitude. Gratitude is the foundation of all qualities. Whenever we are grateful, we are generous. Whenever we are generous, we are grateful. When we are grateful and generous, then we meet good association. We meet good friends. That is why you are here. Already you can be happy because you have these qualities. You have gratitude and generosity. That is why you are here. That is why you have come to the Dhamma. When you come to the Dhamma, gradually you can understand the Dhamma. When do we start our spiritual practice? As soon as you come to listening to Dhamma, you start your spiritual journey. Why is that? Listening to Dhamma is also one of the places where we liberate from suffering. When Buddha was living, a lot of disciples who listening to Dhamma attain enlightenment when they are listening to Dhamma. Listening to Dhamma also a place where we liberate from suffering, where we understand the Dhamma, where we realize the Dhamma. While we are listening to Dhamma, if we listen to the correct message, we can understand the Dhamma, and also we can realize, and also we can get the benefits through listening to Dhamma. This is very important. When we listen to Dhamma, our mind is so pure and calm. We live in the present moment. Immediately we come to the present experience. In our regular life, in our day-to-day life, we do everything in the name of happiness. But we always think that our happiness will be in the future. That is why always we wish a better tomorrow. When we spend our regular life, our day-to-day activities, we always think that happiness will come in future. And also we are very hurried to complete something. We think that always happiness comes after we fulfill something. After we complete something, happiness will be end of our workload, our activities. That is why we are hurried to do something. That is why we are hurried to complete something. We always think that happiness comes after we fulfill, after we complete something. That is the nature of our life. That is the thing you are here. That's the thing you are doing in your day-to-day activities. That's the thing what we do from our birth to death. But what is the nature of the Dhamma? What is the nature of the practice of Dhamma? When happiness comes to our life, as soon as we start our Dhamma practice, we are happy. When we our day-to-day activities, we are seeking happiness, we are finding happiness, but we are not experiencing happiness. When we come to practice Dhamma, happiness is in the present moment. When we practice Dhamma, immediately we start our happiness. We are experiencing happiness. This is the difference between our regular activities and practicing Dhamma. No matter whatever we do in the name of Dhamma, every moment we cultivate our mind, we reduce negative emotions from our mind, and also we cultivate positive mental states in our minds whenever we practice Dhamma. This is the nature of the Dhamma. And also we can say a lot of doctrines in Buddha's message. Among them, finally we have to practice only metta bhavana and breathing meditation. I think all of you have heard metta bhavana, loving kindness meditation. Entire Buddhism is that practicing metta bhavana or loving kindness meditation and anapanasati or breathing meditation. Our success depends on our happiness. Our happiness depends on how much you practice metta bhavana and breathing meditation, anapanasati bhavana. And also, when we practice Dhamma, we are happy in the present moment. And also, when we do our day-to-day activities, we mostly look at the outside world, outside persons. But especially when we are in a meditation retreat, what do? We look at inside. We look at our mind. What happens to my mind? Then especially when we come to practice of Dhamma, we especially practice the contemplation of our mind. In mindfulness, there is a very special meditation state that 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃𝓀𝒶 viharati. It means the contemplation of our mind. We start our spiritual journey from metta bhavana and gradually we come to anapanasati bhavana, and when we go forward, we are aware of our mind. What happens to my mind at the present moment? Whether my mind is pure or unpure. Whether my mind is lustful or not lustful. Whether my mind is angry or not angry. Whether my mind is ignorant or not ignorant. Finally, we understand whether my mind is liberated or not. For that, little by little, we should go forward with our practice. When we go forward on this spiritual path, we can see we have to develop 5 qualities in our life. The very first thing is listening to Dhamma and also sila or virtue, moral conduct, discussing Dhamma, samatha bhavana, and finally vipassana bhavana, insight meditation. Again and again, we have to associate with the good friends and also we have to listen to Dhamma again and again. Whenever we listen to Dhamma, we practice Dhamma. At this moment, you are practicing Dhamma. If you practice metta bhavana in this present moment, how do we practice metta bhavana? Loving kindness meditation. We contemplate on thus, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings in this monastery be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings in this city, in this village, be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings in this province be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings in this country, Germany, may all beings in this continent, Europe, may all beings in this planet, the Earth, may all beings in this solar system, may all beings in this galaxy, the Milky Way, may all beings in this universe, may all beings in this entire world be well, happy and peaceful. We think again and again. In this way, we practice Metta Bhavana again and again. When we practice Metta Bhavana, we can see the beauty of our mind. We can see the beauty of our life. How our mind is beautiful. How our mind beautiful is. We mostly suffer because of anger. When we practice Metta Bhavana again and again, we can overcome more than 50% stress from our mind. Not only that, there are other results too. When we practice Metta Bhavana, we are grateful and also we are generous. Not only that, we can reduce a lot of defilements, negative thoughts from our minds whenever we practice Metta Bhavana. Finally, as a result of practicing Metta Bhavana, we think all the people who are in this world as my children, my daughter, my son. This is the highest attitude of practicing Metta Bhavana. If we can come to this level of mental states practicing Metta Bhavana, we are mentally healthy and also we are rich in spirituality. We are rich in happiness. Then we can see how our happiness gradually increases in the correct way. In this retreat, as much as you can, please practice Metta Bhavana. Not only we practice Metta Bhavana in the meditation hall, but even when we go out, when we speak with someone, we should speak based on Metta Bhavana. When we do our physical activities, we do all activities based on Metta Bhavana. Our speech, our mental states, and our physical activities should be based on Metta. Then we can overcome a lot of difficulties and problems in our day-to-day life. As the result of practicing Metta Bhavana, finally we come to equanimity, อุเบกขา, we live equanimously. In the mundane level and also supramundane level, in both levels, the highest mental state is that equanimity or อุเบกขา. We make a balanced mind, equal mind. equanimity is the highest quality when we gradually go forward on our spiritual path. As the result of practicing Dhamma, we can succeed a lot of activities in our day-to-day life too. The very important thing. We usually think that when we practice Dhamma, it influences our mental state. Not only that, when our mind is pure and calm, when our activities and speech are correct, we can say gradually we can succeed in our day-to-day life too. When you study, you can successfully study your studies. When you do a job, you have a successful career, jobs in your life. When you associate friends, you can meet a lot of good friends in your day-to-day life. Not only that, when you go forward on this path by practicing Dhamma, you will receive the highest message of the Dhamma. Dhamma comes to your life. The Dhamma comes to your phone. When you are going forward seeking the correct message, day by day you go forward with the practicing of Dhamma, and also you meet the highest message of the Dhamma. Not only that, you have facilities in order to practice this Dhamma, and also gradually you can gain the results of practicing Dhamma. The very important thing is that the main purpose of everyone who was born in this world is that happiness or spiritual development gradually cultivates in our life whenever we practice Dhamma. Okay, dear friends, in the Dhamma, we explained here only few Buddhist doctrines, Buddhist fundamentals, what the Buddha has explained. In the future days, we hope to discuss some doctrines with details. If you have any question about the message of the Buddha or what I explained here, you have a chance to ask your questions too. Any question you have?
I have a question
Yes.
about Metta Bhavana. I once heard someone was asking a monk why everybody talks about Metta but not the other Brahma Viharas, why Metta is so important. And the monk replied that if you have Metta, you have the other three also. And I wanted to ask, do you agree with that? And if so, then why is that?
When we discuss the Buddha's message, Metta Bhavana or loving kindness meditation is highly appreciated. In the mundane level and also supra-mundane level, we can get a lot of benefits by practicing Metta Bhavana. We mostly suffer because of anger. Even though you are well educated, although we are very rich, even though we have a lot of facilities, even though you are driving in a very luxurious vehicle, if you are angry, everything that you earned is useless. Since our mind is polluted with negative thoughts such as anger. That is why Buddhism says He who wishes to attain the peace of mind should practice metta bhavana, such as may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. And also the other thing, when we practice metta bhavana, our craving, our lust, greed, our jealousy, our conceit, a lot of negative thoughts gradually decrease, reduce. When we see a person as your son or your close relative, at that moment, do you have lust? No. You have no lust. You have no anger. You have no jealousy. You have no conceit. You have no greed at that moment. That is why metta bhavana is so important. Not only that, by practicing metta bhavana, if we can gain concentration or samadhi, then we can practice insight meditation or vipassana bhavana easily based on metta bhavana. That is why practicing metta bhavana or loving kindness meditation is highly recommended, highly appreciated, highly encouraged in the Dhamma. And also, when we have metta, loving kindness meditation, it influences our entire body. We can see it through our face, through our physical body, through our activities. That is why Buddhism always encourages us to practice metta bhavana. Not only that, we practice metta bhavana not only for primary results, but we practice metta bhavana as the part of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right view or right understanding, and immediately we come to right intention. Right intention means metta bhavana. With the correct vision about the world, when we practice metta bhavana, we don't stop in the concentration or the primary results, but when mind gradually gains concentration, we immediately reflect on the world reality as it is. What is the world reality? There are three characteristics: anicca, dukkha and anatta. Impermanence, unsatisfactoriness and selflessness. Therefore, practicing metta bhavana is very useful. But day by day, when we listen to Dhamma, when we improve our Dhamma understanding, we can practice metta bhavana in the highest level. We can get the highest benefits of practicing metta bhavana. Any question? If you want to ask it again, I can explain some more things. And here, this is our first speech. Even though this is the very first speech, we should have to understand the main things in Buddhism. Sometimes you may think that end of the retreat, we have to understand all the Buddhist fundamentals or Buddha's message. But even in the very first speech, we should understand the Buddha's message, even though as it is very short. Buddha always encouraged us to how we gain the wisdom. Wisdom is the highest quality that directly helps us to reduce our negative thoughts from our minds. Here, there is a very special concept, a special doctrine in Buddhism we should understand. There is a very huge difference between the Buddha's message and all other philosophies and all other teachings. When the Buddha attained enlightenment, he realized a very special message. After Buddha attained enlightenment and after he came to preach Dhamma for the first time, at the very first sermon, Buddha says, I explain something that I realized when I attained enlightenment that I had never heard. I understood something what I had never heard earlier. When we listen to Dhamma, we also should listen to this special message in Buddhism. In Pali language, Uppada Nirodha and Anuppada Nirodha. Uppada Nirodha means the cessation of what is arisen. Don't worry if you can't understand it, we will discuss again and again, okay? But however, even in short, we should understand it. Uppa in Pali language, Uppada Nirodha and Anuppada Nirodha. Uppada Nirodha means the cessation or extinction of what is arisen. For an example, we think that here there is a ball or flower. This is a flower here. Someday it can be destroyed. It can be broken. This is the cessation of what is arisen. Even scientists dividing atoms, they understand that there are some primary elements there, such as electron, proton, neutron, such as. There is an atom here, we can divide it. Finally, we can see electron, proton, neutron. They are impermanent, they are changing every moment. This is the cessation of what is arisen or what is arisen. What is already which is here. You know, this is very easy to understand. Going to old age, sickness, death, all of them are related to this truth, which is the cessation of what is arisen. There is something here in the material world. One day it can be changed. One day it can be destroyed. That can be understood by anyone. We don't need to listen to Dhamma in order to understand this reality. This is not the real meaning of impermanence or anicca, what the Buddha taught. That is not the real meaning of impermanence or anicca. What Buddha realized? He says, I understood something when I attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, which I had never heard. What is that? Anupada Nirodha. The cessation, what is not arisen. The cessation or extinction of what is not arisen. What is that? When we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we contact something through our senses, we can contact the material world at the present moment. But when we understand it, the very first experience based on the material world has already completely ceased without remaining anything. We can contact this flower at the present moment. But when we understand this is as a flower, we understand not through our eye consciousness, but through our mind consciousness. When we understand this as a flower, our eye, this form, eye consciousness, eye contact, eye feelings or eye sensation, eye mental formations completely ceased. We understand the material world through our mind consciousness. It doesn't mean that there is no material world. There is a material world. We can contact the material world. That material world consists with 4 fundamental elements. Earth element, water element, fire element, and air element. There is a world based on these 4 fundamental elements. But when we understand something, the first experience has completely ceased without remaining anything. This is the highest understanding of the Dhamma. If we see this reality, immediately our lust or attachment or craving, our anger, all the defilements completely cease at the moment, since we see the world as empty. As soon as you look at something, be mindful that this form has completely ceased when I understand this person. We always understand the very previous experience which has already ceased in the past experience. We live in the past experience always. When we go somewhere, we always look at front, but we are here, where we were in. When you drive your car, you look at front, but you are here. When you eat something, getting some food on the plate, when you enjoy some food, you immediately look at the plate. Wow, this food is very delicious. The food which is in the plate is delicious? No, the food which is inside here, that food is delicious. When we are eating something, food is here, but we think that I am enjoying the food which is in the plate. Is it true? No. At this moment, if you enjoy some food, that food is in your mouth. Is that very beautiful? No, it is so ugly. If you know that now you are enjoying the food is in the mouth, you can enjoy the food, but you have no attachment, no craving about the food which is in the mouth. Our entire life is like that. We always live in the past experience which has already ceased. If we can come to this understanding immediately, we can overcome craving and anger. Then we don't find a world. Already the world has ceased. That is the cessation of which is not arisen. What the Buddha taught, what the Buddha realized. If you are a gifted person, you don't follow the gradual path in Buddhism. If you are a very wise, very intelligent, and a very gifted person, you can directly keep your mind in this reality. Immediately you can overcome suffering. Whatever you hear, whatever you look, whatever you smell, whatever you experience through your physical body, everything in this moment has ceased. It doesn't mean that we don't go to extremes. If we think there is a world, that is an extreme. If we think there is no world, that is an extreme. Without going to both of these extremes, we come to the middle path. When this is, this is, when this is not, this is not. Then we release from the both of extremes, which there is something or there isn't something. This is the middle path of the Dhamma. This understanding is the final understanding that one day we have to reach. But don't worry. Even though you don't understand it, don't worry. Already you have come to practice Dhamma. You practice Metta Bhavana. You practice breathing meditation. And also you are mindful in the present moment. The more you are mindful in the present moment, you enjoy your life. You are silent in the present moment. The noble silence. The noble silence is the best music in this world. You can listen into the voice of birds, very good music there you can hear. Have any question? If you have any question, if you didn't understand, I can explain some more things. It's simple. When we discuss the Dhamma, it has a gradual path. As I mentioned earlier, Dhamma is like the ocean. Ocean deepens gradually from the beach to the deeper water. Dhamma also like that. When we practice Dhamma, we gradually go to the deeper understanding. But always we are in the Dhamma. Whenever we are in the Dhamma, we are mindful. Mindfulness means we are aware of our body and mind. Whenever we speak something, mindful is speaking. When we do something physically, mindful activities, mindful working, mindful walking, mindful eating. We are in the present moment. And also, we gradually practice the Dhamma. We practice generosity. We are always ready to share something with others. Generous heart. He who has a generous heart gains a lot of happiness. Not only we practice generosity, always try to contemplate on you have already practiced as generosities. The contemplation of generosity is also a meditation technique. You have helped your parents, your children, you have donated something for homeless people, you have a generous heart. If you think your practice of generosity, that is also a place where we meditate for our inner peace, for our concentration. Yes, please.
I have a question about cultivating compassion part of the metta. Sometimes when I feel a lot of emotions from other people, and I try to reply with compassion usually, but it happens that I forget about myself in that moment. That after a while I realize, oh, I'm not really compassionate about myself because I'm so much everywhere else. So how can I maintain a balance?
Yes, very good question. We always start our spiritual journey with the understanding of the Dhamma. As I mentioned earlier, we always practice mindfulness. When we have loving kindness meditation, we always know that I live in the present moment. Being aware of my body and mind, I practice metta bhavana. Loving friendliness, loving kindness. Then we come to karuna or compassion. When compassion comes to our life, we are so emotional. We feel it. It means we are not mindful at the present moment. We should help others. It is a good quality. But here we should take care of our mindfulness. We always give the priority for our inner peace. Sometimes we forget our life when we are going to help others. But we should practice compassion with good understanding, good attention. If not, our help may be useful for them. For an example, if someone has faced some accident in the road on the street, if you emotionally go there and take that person in your hand, if you run to the hospital, then it is a big mistake, big damage. Similarly, when we go to help others, we should be wise and mindful. If not, it is not a real quality. It means that doesn't work for our spiritual development. Whenever we practice good qualities, all things should be based on the Noble Eightfold Path. There we can see right mindfulness, right effort, and right view or right understanding. No matter whatever qualities we practice, generosity, gratitude, virtue, metta bhavana, any kind of qualities that we practice in our day-to-day life, we practice based on a right view or right understanding, right effort, right mindfulness. There is a very special discourse in Majjhima Nikaya, 𝒮𝓃 ℒ𝒶𝓃𝓀𝒶, the discourse of the Great 40. There it explains very clearly. The discourse explains very clearly, no matter whatever we do for our inner peace, for our spiritual development, everything should be based on right vision, right effort, and right mindfulness. These three things are very important. Especially when we practice some activities in a retreat, we should practice SMS, slowly, mindfully, silently. Slowly, mindfully, silently. And also, Dhamma explains, when you do something, when you speak something, we should think it again and again whether it is correct. That is very important. When we do our physical activities, verbal activities, and also mental activities, we should think again and again whether it is correct. That is very important. Any other questions? Okay, now I think you're listening to a lot of teachings in Buddhism, but however, I explain very primary things in Buddhism. These things are very important. That is why I explain these fundamental teachings in Buddhism at the first sermon, first lecture, and also the other thing, these all things will be explained in our future lessons. However, everything I explain here in short, don't worry about it if you can't understand. When we have correct understanding, by listening to Dhamma, we cultivate our right understanding. The first level of right understanding is that understanding the karmic law, the karma actions, the law of our actions. You know, I think all of you have read Dhammapada, the very first stanza of Dhammapada, Mano pubbangama dhamma, mano setta manomaya, manasache pasannena, manasache padutena. So on, mind is the forerunner, mind is chief, mind made ade. If someone does something with an impure mind, suffering follows him because of impure mind. If a person does something with a pure mind, physically, verbally or mentally, happiness follows him because of pure mind. This is the foundation of karmic energy, good actions or bad actions. According to our intention, we will receive the results. If we have this understanding, we practice 3 meritorious deeds: generosity, virtue or 5 precepts, and meditation or metta bhavana, or any other samatha meditation technique, any other concentration meditation technique. As a result of this practice, we can reduce craving and anger. And also finally we can come to equanimity. That equanimity or 𝒶𝓃 belongs to the mundane level in the worldly level. There is a world here. I have no attachment and also I have no anger. I live equanimously. That is also an equanimity. It based on the mundane level in the worldly level. And also when we come to the next level of right understanding, we understand how the world arises and ceases. Whenever we contact the world in the present moment through our senses, at the moment we understand the world, that experience arises at the moment, that experience completely ceases at the moment. The previous experience doesn't come to the present, and also present experience will not go to future from the present. But the previous experience influences the present moment will influence the next moment. But nothing goes from past to the present and nothing will go to future from the present. But we can see an influence here. Not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred will not go to occurrence. Not being occurred comes to occurrence. Being occurred will not go to occurrence. This is the main sentence in Buddhism. It means the past thing didn't come to the present will not go to future from the present. Such as this sound. This sound didn't come to the present from the past. This sound will not go to future from the present. When these things are together, the sound arises at the moment. This sound was not here before we listening to it. This sound arises because of some reasons. But the very important thing, this sound doesn't belong to any cause, any reason. This sound doesn't belong to my fingers. This sound doesn't belong to my ears. This sound doesn't belong to even my ear consciousness. But if there are no these causes, the sound doesn't arise. Our all experiences are also like that. Our eye, ear, nose, our physical body, all the senses, all the external objects are also like that. When we come to the next level, based on the supramundane level, this is the highest understanding. When we come to this level, we always practice 3 characteristics. We reflect on the 3 characteristics: anicca, impermanence; dukkha, unsatisfactoriness; and anatta, selflessness. When we practice this reality, we gradually develop our wisdom. As the result of cultivating our wisdom, we slowly come to the equanimity. That equanimity is the supramundane level equanimity. When we see the world as empty, then automatically we become the equanimity. That equanimity doesn't belong anything in the material world. We can see the beauty. There is a very beautiful flower with water. This is a very common flower. This is not an artificial flower, okay? This is a true flowers with water. Water is here, okay? Soil is here. We can contact the 4 fundamental elements, and also we understand these as flowers through our mind consciousness. When we understand these flowers through our mind consciousness, the very first experience based on the material world has completely ceased. It doesn't disturb our enjoyment. We can enjoy this thing, but we enjoy with this understanding. Then we don't have attachment to the world. Arahantas, enlightened persons, they experience the world in this way. They see the beauty of the world, but immediately they understand the beauty not through their eye consciousness or ear consciousness, but through their mind consciousness. Without attachment, without desire, without anger, without jealousy, without conceit, they can understand and they can enjoy the world. But that enjoy is very pure. Finally, they come to equanimity. They live equanimously. Okay, dear Dhamma friends, you can be happy about listening to this message. This message doesn't belong to the Buddha. This is the world reality as it is, whether we know or not. This is a discovery. This is not a creation by the Buddha or any other deity or God. This is the world reality, whether we know or not, whether we believe or not. Firstly, we should know this reality by faith, by confidence in what the Buddha taught. But gradually, when we go forward, it comes our own experience. Before you go to a place, whenever you haven't gone, if you go to a place first time, you should believe the address. If you don't trust the address, never you can go to the destination. Before you go to a place, you should believe the address. If you criticize the address, if you don't believe the address, never you go to the destination. But when you gradually reach in the destination, that comes to your own experience, then you don't need to believe the address, since you know the place. You know everywhere. Now that is your own experience. A Buddha, a good friend, is able to help you to understand. A person can help you to understand this reality. But after you gain this understanding, hundreds of people are unable to change your understanding. Then that is your own experience. Dhamma also like that. In first, we understand something by faith, by confidence in the Dhamma. But when we gradually go forward, that comes to our own experience. We see the results. Then we don't need to believe anyone, even the Buddha. Then that is our own experience. When you practice generosity, you can see the results. Your mind is so pure and calm. When you practice 5 precepts, sila, virtue, then you can see the results. When you practice metta bhavana, you can see the results. Gradually, anger reduces. Then you can purify your mind. That is your own experience. When you practice samatha bhavana, you can gain the samatha qualities, the facts of jhana. Vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata. We can see the results. Enjoyment, one-pointed stillness. We can see the results. That is our own results. And finally, when we understand the wisdom arising and ceasing of the world, the impermanence, then we understand this reality. This is which is happening in this world. When we look at something, we can see something. Even though we close our eyes, we can see the same picture. How do we see it? We see it through our mind consciousness. Look at something and close your eyes. Still you can see the world. Remember your mom, your house, your school, your university. Still you can see them through your mind consciousness. Actually, the previous experience has completely ceased. Now we understand something through our mind consciousness. Our all experiences are also like that. If you look at me at this moment, this picture also like that. You understand the previous experience, not the present experience. If we can understand this reality, immediately we can release from the material world. If we can release our mind from the material world, immediately we can release our mind from attachment and anger. By practicing Dhamma, by practicing mindfulness again and again, we come to be permanent of this understanding. Why do we need to reflect on this reality again and again? For a long time, we have been thinking that when we look at something, still it is happening. We have practiced this misunderstanding for eons in our previous lives. That is why again and again we have to reflect on this reality for our understanding. For an example, if there is a clock somewhere in the wall at your home, if someone remove that clock 1 day, 2 days, 6 days, 1 week, again and again, if you want to see the clock, immediately you look at the place. But now there is no clock. As usual, you immediately look at the place where the clock was. Similarly, for a long time, for long lives in our previous lives, for eons, we thought that there is a person, there is something when we understand somewhere. This is the misunderstanding. By listening Dhamma, by reflecting on Dhamma, by practicing mindfulness, by reflecting on impermanence and selflessness, again and again we think as it is. Then gradually we release our mind from the material world. At the same time, we release from anger and craving from the world. Okay, with this understanding, now let's practice Metta Bhavana for 5 minutes. After that, we will practice insight meditation too. Okay, please get ready for sitting meditation. We practice meditation about 15 minutes. After that, if anyone wants to leave, you can go. As you are comfortable, you can continue meditation, but especially we practice meditation here for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, if you like, you can go, okay? You can go to your residence and you can have some snack or food, something, anything you like. And here, firstly we practice Metta Bhavana. After that, we are going to practice Vipassana Bhavana too. Okay, please relax your body. Straight your body, please. Please be aware of your body posture that you are sitting here. From your head to legs and from your legs to head, please be aware of your body posture that you are sitting here. And then you can keep your attention around the nose or upper lip in the present moment. That is the sati nimitta, the sign of mindfulness. I am fully aware of the present moment with mindfulness. At the same time, I spread metta thoughts to everyone in this world. May all beings in this meditation hall be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings at this monastery be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings in this country be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings in this entire world be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings in this entire world be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to them. May no problems come to them. May no difficulties come to them. May they attain the supreme bliss of liberation. Sabbe sattha sukhino hontu. I see the entire world like my family, like my children. I bless all of them. May all beings in this entire world be well, happy and peaceful. I see the entire world like my family, like my home, like my children. My mind is filled with metta bhavana. My mind is so pure and calm at this present moment. Metta thoughts. With metta thoughts, my mind is pure and calm and happy. With this pure mind, now I am going to practice insight meditation, vipassana bhavana. Again, I keep my attention around the nose or upper lip with the sati nimitta, the sign of mindfulness. You can relax your body. Relax your body, please. Be seated comfortably. Relax your body, please. And keep your attention around the nose or upper lip in the present moment. With this mindful moment, now I am going to reflect on impermanence. Every moment, my internal senses, ear, nose, eye, tongue, physical body, these things arise at the moment with the conditions. They immediately cease at the moment. Arising, ceasing. Arising, ceasing. Every moment these senses rising and falling, arising and ceasing. External objects also arise and cease at the moment. Form, sound, smell. These objects also arise at the moment with the conditions. Every moment they cease. Arising, ceasing. Arising, ceasing. My mind also every moment arises and ceases. My entire life is that mind, mental formations, and mind consciousness. Every moment these three things arising and ceasing. Arising, ceasing. Arising, ceasing. In this understanding, my mind gradually gains concentration and wisdom. With this understanding, My mind releases from the outside material world. At the same time, my mind releases from even mind consciousness too. When I reflect on impermanence of mind consciousness, everything is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. When I see the impermanence of my mind, when I see the world as empty, my mind gradually comes to equanimity, upekkha. Sabbe sankhara anicchāti yada paññāya passati ata nibbindati dukkhe esa maggo visuddhiyā. All conditioned things are impermanent. He who sees this reality with wisdom overcomes suffering. This is the path to purity. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, dear friends in the Dhamma, we listening to Dhamma and also we practice Metta Bhavana and Vipassana Bhavana. This is our first speech that you are listening to. And remembering the things that we discuss here, please try to practice the Dhamma as much as you can. Especially, please try to maintain your mindfulness with your silence as much as you can. If you want to speak something, please speak slowly and mindfully. And also, please be mindful everywhere, every moment. Whenever you are mindful, you have a protection, you have a refuge in your life, since negative thoughts don't come to your mind whenever you are mindful. That is why Buddhism always encourages us to be mindful. Whenever we are mindful, nobody can disturb your peace of mind. You have a refuge. You have a freedom at that moment. Whenever you are not mindful, others can control you. Others can bring you suffering. Whenever you are suffering, be sure that you are not mindful at that moment. Whenever we are mindful, nobody can disturb our peace of mind, since we have a refuge. We have purified our mind at that moment. Okay, thank you for your participation and listening to Dhamma. We really appreciate your dedication for this retreat. By the power of this spirituality that we accrue through all these activities, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May your spiritual goals meet its success. May your spiritual happiness increase day by day. And finally, may all of us attain the supreme bliss of liberation, enlightenment. Dukkham pantāca nirdukkhaṃ, bhayam pantāca nirbhayam, sokam pantāca nissokam, hontu sabbe pipānino. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.